Hey, Special Olympics family. This is Barbara Oswald with Special Olympics South Carolina, coming to you again with part two of our event planning series, kind of dissecting our Special Olympics event planning to guide you as you plan your own Special Olympics event. Today, we're going to talk about the two categories of Special Olympics events. These are sanctioned versus non-sanctioned events. So we'll first ask, what is required for Special Olympics event to be sanctioned? And then we'll explore why you would want to host a sanctioned event. Finally, we'll talk about non-sanctioned events, examples, what makes up a non-sanctioned event, and why this also is important to consider. So first, looking at the criteria for a sanctioned Special Olympics event. Number one, a sanctioned Special Olympics event is all about a true Special Olympics sports competition. That means it follows the official sports rules specified by Special Olympics International. Any sports rules can always be found through the specialolympics.org website by clicking on the sports tab. In addition to the sports rules, we're also looking at an event following the standards for competition set forth by those rules. This may include things like court size, length of matches or games, other types of specifications that ensure that there's a quality and consistent sports competition taking place. And finally, in order for a Special Olympics competition event to be sanctioned, it must be approved and recognized by an accredited Special Olympics program. Now, accredited programs include local area programs, as well as our state program. In order to get your event sanctioned, you would need to complete a sanctioning form that's available online. You submit that, and then you will be able to get approval and recognition from your local and or state office. If you ever have a question about this, you can always go to your local area director or any of our staff from the state office with your questions. So why would you want to host a sanctioned versus a non-sanctioned event? Well, there's certain things in place that are going to help you ensure the quality of your event. One thing is your games management team. Most sanctioned events are going to have, at minimum, a competition director, a volunteer coordinator, someone who also is planning awards and making sure that all of that is organized, as well as ceremonies directors who are planning opening ceremonies, maybe closing ceremonies as well. A sanctioned event typically is going to have ensure that there's medical coverage there for athletes and partners in case of any injury or sickness. Volunteers are crucial to a sanctioned event as they really are the ones that help to ensure all the aspects of the event take place. Sanctioned events typically collect pre-registration data for a variety of purposes. One, it does ensure the delegation details are in check. We look for athlete to coach ratio typically to be a 4 athletes to every 1 coach ratio. Now, there are stipulations here and certainly opportunities for a change in that ratio as needed, but this is really a good rule of thumb for delegations to maintain. And of course, we want to ensure that all of those athletes have updated athlete medicals to ensure the safest, highest quality competition. Every sanctioned event should have an opening ceremonies, and those opening ceremonies are typically going to include a national anthem, a torch run, and an athlete oath. And when you look at your Special Olympics competition at a sanctioned event, those competitors have been divisioned using qualifying scores, their gender and age, and all of that was provided to the competition director in that pre-registration data. So coaches and teachers have submitted information about the athletes, including their qualifying score, to make sure that that competition is a high quality, great experience for our athletes. And finally, awards. If an event is sanctioned by Special Olympics, the awards that Special Olympics will provide are official awards through Special Olympics. Oftentimes, in addition to those components, a sanctioned event also includes a closing ceremony or a victory dance. And an Olympic town. Olympic towns are fun venues for our athletes and delegation members that often include music, games, crafts, and sometimes healthy athletes. So why? Why go through all the trouble to host a sanctioned event? Well, there's a couple of key areas that really are checked off by hosting a sanctioned Special Olympics event. The first is quality. You're really ensuring that your athletes and partners are getting a real sports competition, and it's a quality event for all the delegation members by following those official sports rules and competition standards. A second um, area that really is an enticement for hosting a sanctioned event is a really important one, and that's the opportunity for advancement. Delegation members have to have competed at a sanctioned Special Olympics event in order to qualify to move on to a regional or state competition. They do not have to have won gold. They have not have to have placed a certain place within their competition. They simply need to have participated at that sanctioned event. Sanctioned events provide our athletes experience. It really prepares them for their future in sports training and competition. It really lays out what a quality sports experience should be, and it really helps our athletes gain those skills to better themselves as athletes. And the awards at a sanctioned event are the is the only time that official Special Olympics ribbons or medals can be used. So non-sanctioned events will not include official Special Olympics ribbons or medals. So there's a real enticement there as well. Finally, only sanctioned Special Olympics events are covered, have liability coverage through the Special Olympics insurance, which is a big deal. And oftentimes facilities are insistent on Special Olympics be a secondary coverage for their events. So now let's talk about non-sanctioned events. What would a non-sanctioned event be? Well, non-sanctioned events are still Special Olympics events, but they do not follow official sports rules or event guidelines set forth by Special Olympics International. What non-sanctioned Special Olympics events often do, however, is provide an opportunity for experiencing joy and a sharing of gifts, which is a key aspect of the Special Olympics mission. Non-sanctioned Special Olympics events often provide an opportunity for people of all abilities and backgrounds to come together for a day of fun and inclusion, again, really supporting the mission and the message of Special Olympics. And finally, many non-sanctioned Special Olympics events really focus on raising awareness to large groups of people that oftentimes aren't going to be at those sanctioned Special Olympics events. It's a way of spreading the message of inclusion and of ability within Special Olympics to groups that really are less aware of that experience within Special Olympics. So there's a real purpose behind the messaging at these non-sanctioned events. So we'll look at a couple of examples of non-sanctioned Special Olympics events. Unified sports days or unified game days. An example of one of these would be we have a college in South Carolina that will host teams or schools for just a day of unified sports, participating alongside in recreation opportunities with those college students. It really is an opportunity for inclusion. It's a great way of raising awareness with the college students who may or may not have ever been involved with Special Olympics before. And certainly it's a great way and opportunity to celebrate those Special Olympics athletes that come to campus that day. A unified field day, sometimes providing opportunities for Special Olympics type events within a school's field day and really promoting inclusion through that school is a great opportunity for a non-sanctioned Special Olympics event. Whoops. We froze up there for a second. Health or fitness events. These are becoming more and more popular. Special Olympics is, as we continue to promote fitness and health, we really love the idea of showcasing our Special Olympics health opportunities and best practices in an event. So making wellness a really fun thing is a great way of furthering the Special Olympics mission. Our fourth area here is a special mix experience or a special mix day. These can be really popular for whole school engagement opportunities for Unified Champion schools in particular. We know of schools who have had the entire school outside going through kind of almost like a mock Special Olympics spring games to understand what it's like to be at a Special Olympics event and experience that inclusion and that celebration. And finally, a Special Olympics Sports Expo. We've had a couple area programs who have kind of dabbled in this, where you have an opportunity for athletes and partners and families to come and try out a couple of Special Olympics sports and explore what they may or may not be interested in. So I hope that you have found this as an easy way of figuring out exactly what a sanctioned versus a non-sanctioned Special Olympics event really is, and understand that both are very valued within the Special Olympics community. And please, as always, reach out to your local area director or a state office if you ever have any questions. Thank you for your support of Special Olympics, and we look forward to seeing the events in the future that you plan.